Welcome to the Audacity, the podcast where we applaud Gen Z for saying we're breaking generational curses, not our backs.
Woo!
I'm joined here with Lisa. What's up, girl?
Hey, and I am here with the Sovereign Woman, and we have an amazing show for y'all today. We are going to be reunited with one of our favorite guests ever, BurbnBougie, a great friend of the show. We quote her all the time on the show. Yes. And we cannot wait to talk to her about some of the Gen Z trends that she has noticed. As you know, if you follow Burb, she does a lot of just real-time reporting on trends and politics and stuff like that. So she's going to bring us up to speed on what Gen Z has been up to. And we have, of course, as always, lots of hot tea. We have an article to talk about with some disturbing findings, to say the least. We have a couple of videos to react to, so hang tight for that. For our B segment, we're doing a tea or trash episode, and I'm very excited about that. And we're going to do some fun questions in our crumpets segment. So if you are able to, please join us for that. As you know, you can join us over on YouTube. We offer memberships that will allow you access to the crumpet segment. Or I'm going to go ahead and toss to Sovereign to tell you all about our Patreon.
Yeah. So first we have new Tea VIP Patreon members, Kara and Jenny. Welcome.
Welcome, ladies.
And if you have not joined our Patreon, please run on over there and do so. You will get perks like early access to every episode, ad-free listening, our weekly bonus crumpet segments where Lisa and I, it's kind of like Audacity After Dark, if you will.
It's the best.
It is. You also get priority mailbags. You get to spill your own tea in the tea time segment with a voice note. And you get access to our very private community for just women. So go ahead and click the link, or you can go to patreon.com/audacity. See you there.
Yay. Thank you so much, Sovereign. And I think we have some hot tea to spill, but not before I remind you all that we also have a Facebook now. The one thing we swore we wouldn't do, we went ahead and did it. We discovered that feminist content is very much needed over there. So we joined our Facebook queen, Abby Eckel, that we had her on the show last week. Make sure you check that out too. But please come and find us over on Facebook. Make sure you comment, engage, and share if you are not able to support us in any other way. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's spill some tea. It was so hard to choose the tea from this week because there was that Pearl versus Ana Kasparian debate. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
That was great. I can't believe we're not covering that more, actually, but I just wanted an honorable mention. You can find it on YouTube. It was great. There's not too much to say about it because Pearl got owned so freaking hard.
Bad. It was awful.
Yeah. I mean, we could literally sit here and talk about it, but there's no need. Like, Anna freaking demolished her. And it was just crazy to see how like little there is behind all of the, the shit talking. It's like, oh, you really don't even know the stats on your own like debate.
And I don't care for Pearl at all, but I actually felt bad for her. It was really cringy. Like I was sitting there like, you poor baby. Like it was that bad that I actually felt bad for her. Oh,
you always feel you're like very empathetic because you always feel bad even
for the worst people.
I'm like, I don't care. I wanted her like to actually mop the floor with her literally.
I already knew she would.
Point. Yeah.
To be honest, anybody could mop the floor with Pearl, but Anna, I'm not really sure about Anna at this. Is she alt-right? Did she turn alt-right? Because she didn't used to be, I don't think.
Oh my God, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I watched a few. So I've been following her for years because she's child free, and that's what kind of turned me on to the Young Turks or whatever.
That's why I assumed she wasn't alt-right, but she was kind of pushing for marriage. So I don't know.
And I saw a few clips last year and maybe in 24 where I was like, oh gosh, she turned, and I can't remember what it was about, but I remember having that thought, and I was like, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was out of context, but
a win is a win.
Yeah, either way, I'm so happy.
An enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Perfect.
That's literally how I feel.
Literally.
Wipe the floor with her girl. Yeah. So go watch it if you haven't yet. It was an amazing, absolutely amazing. Funny. A pleasure to watch.
Sorry, I'm still laughing at it. The enemy of my enemy is my friend is one of my favorite quotes, and I haven't heard it in so long.
It's amazing.
And this was the perfect fitting for it. So.
Perfect example. All right. Why don't we react to a clip of, I'm going to give her the soft life.
My homeboy left his wife for someone that his wife knew. So I asked him, I said, well, man, can I be with your ex-wife? And he gonna say, you can't be with my ex-wife. What kind of question is that? It don't even matter, man. I'm already with his ex-wife. His ex-wife, I always wanted to be with his wife, his ex-wife, you know what I mean? So it don't matter. He probably gonna find out via this video that I'm with his ex-wife, but it don't matter. Me and her, we got plans. We're going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee on Valentine's Day. We're gonna be in the cabins up in the mountain. We're gonna be in that hot tub, and I'm gonna be giving his ex-wife the loving that he wasn't giving her. Two wrongs don't make a right, but in this situation, we're gonna be wrong until otherwise. But you know, at this moment, his wife, his ex-wife, is the love of my life. So he found the love of his life with a woman that his ex-wife knew. So why can't his ex-wife be happy with a man that he knows or knew? He probably don't want to be my friend no more, but it is what it is.
Oh my God.
So I seen a few male content creators on TikTok covering this, and they felt some kind of way, obviously. They're like, that wasn't even his real friend. I'm going to be honest. I don't see the problem.
There's absolutely no problem. How many times have you heard of like a man bringing his dead wife's best friend to her funeral?
Facts. So
listen. It sounds like she's finally being treated right. Okay, she's going to Gatlinburg or whatever. She's going to be in a hot tub. She's going to be getting the things that she didn't have before. And listen, I think she's it's a out of the frying pan and into the fire kind of situation. But
I agree.
You know what? God forbid a girl
Right.
have a little fun. God
In the
forbid
meantime.
a girl have a little, post-divorce, like little snack. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Why
Absolutely.
not? Why not?
I saw in the comment section one of the things that the guys, the male content creators were upset about or debating was that the creators in his comment section said that he had been plotting on her. Somebody got in there and asked, how long you been plotting on his wife? And he said 2.5 years. And so that was the big deal, I guess. But I'm like, so that just begs the question, is it wrong to plot on your friend's spouse for 2.5 years or for any amount of time?
Listen,
If you see that they're not, because clearly the way I took this is that he knew that man wasn't treating, assuming this is true, assuming this is a real story, right? Because the social media, you never know. I took it to mean that he must have knew what his friend was doing the whole time. They were probably married. So typically, in my experience, what I've seen in the past is that if you have a man and his homeboy is hitting on you, 9 times out of 10, your man is cheating on you. And he knows it because when they go out for boys' nights or whatever, they see what he be doing. So he figure he's not taking you seriously.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to push up and see if I can get my chance. I'm not saying that's right or anything, but I just wonder, is it ethical? Is it unsavory to be plotting on your friend? Does that mean you're not a real friend, or, what do you think about that?
I don't care what men do. I'm so freaking tired. It's all of their interactions are like this, unfortunately.
I agree.
Like there's always a winner and a loser. There's always this, they don't experience community. So I really don't care what they do. I think as a woman, you have to look at the mess, the rat's nest that men have created for themselves. And at this point, you just got to figure out how you can benefit from it. And that's why I see absolutely nothing wrong with what the woman's doing.
Yeah.
And it's more like she probably went ahead and went for it in this situation with this friend, probably because he was willing to stick around, wait on her, and I don't know, basically she probably felt more important and valuable to this man than her actual husband. And so I can't really blame her for that. Also, if he wasn't interfering actively to end their marriage, then
there's no
I
problem.
don't see a problem.
Right.
I don't know.
I agree. I totally agree.
I think it's, one man's, I don't want to say trash, especially relating to a woman, but it's what one man can't appreciate, another man will wait 2.5 years to take you to a Valentine's Day, hot tub out in whatever
Some part of Tennessee.
some part of Tennessee. Listen, it can be very beautiful.
Yeah, I just hope the woman is careful because that's kind of, like you said, skillet to the frying pan. So, well, I wish them the best. But also, mostly every woman has a man or two waiting in the wings.
Waiting in the wings. Absolutely.
I know I do.
I
always do.
Yeah.
So
they're
it is
always
what it is.
waiting, and they're definitely going to slide into your DMs. And again, like I said, if you are in that petty mood, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm about to get ready to start giving advice, like cheat on him first.
I'm literally on
commit
the cusp.
a crime. Commit a crime against him first.
Yeah. I'm on the cusp of that too. So let me know whenever you're ready to
sleep
enter
with
that
his
era.
friend first. we're right there. We're right there. Just need one little push.
Whenever you're ready, just give me the word. No. Shoot me a text.
All right. All right. You guys will know. So yeah, my judgment, I guess this can be our crown or clown. I say crown. I think
agree.
the clowns are the only people that are trying to find something wrong with it, knowing damn well that they probably have a woman like that they're waiting in the wings for. They're like, oh, my homie just doesn't appreciate her. Like, I could treat her right, whatever. They all know this. Like, they know they would slide in the DMs, etc. And these are men that are not willing to treat women right regardless. So why are you, piping in here? They only want to pipe in when like a woman has a little bit of, something like a little benefit. When it looks like a woman is coming out on top.
I agree.
Then they want to come in and like throw the flag and like referee the situation. Guys, I don't care what you think. Yeah. Literally, we couldn't care less. So you can arbitrate amongst yourselves, but I literally see it as an ingrown toenail, the conversations that men are having. Like, it's not helping anybody. It's growing in the wrong direction.
Oh my God.
So that's my judgment.
That's the perfect example.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's react to another video. Let's go with the SNL clip, I guess.
I can't actually believe that I'm admitting this, but the first time I learned what a woman looks like down there was on camera as well. So we have another clip, I think.
Oh, good. Oh my God. Really?
And it gets so played out, but like the question remains, like, why do men write jokes like they hate women? It's, again, I don't want to put anybody's like sexuality into question or whatever, but this is why we ask the question. Why do you guys think vaginas are so disgusting and scary and have teeth and everything like that?
We know why, but we know why.
Why?
They don't like women.
Right. So I'm like, this is why we keep asking the question, like, what is this? What is this phenomenon? Like, it's like you're just going about your day as a woman and shit like this. You know what I mean? Like, you're just trying to enjoy like SNL, right? And you open it and then here comes this joke about vaginas are disgusting. And it's like, dude, are we not past this yet? Like, do we not understand?
We're never going to get past it.
Right.
Because we're in a patriarchy, and this all goes with making women feel like shit. So this is all a part of religion and the relationship aspects of life and what women bring to the table and our worth and all that. It all goes together. It's just another way to make women feel less than, because a man or the patriarchy, society, whoever, can only control women if they make you feel bad about yourself. If you are feeling self-conscious, if you feel insecure, in their minds, we can control her better. So just like when a man is negging you, you're like, you're this beautiful woman, you're out on a date, and he's saying, well, you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl, or you have a pretty face to be fat, or what. They just have to pick at it because they need you. Men need women to survive. I mean, they need women to even exist. I mean, you need a woman to push you into existence. But I think a lot of them resent the fact that they want us, typically more than we want them for the most part. And also, many of them just prefer the bromance. They prefer to just be with their homies. And so I think they resent the patriarchy telling them you have to have a woman, you have to have kids, you have to do all this stuff in order to be seen as a man. but they do it because they want to be on this hierarchy, like at the top of the hierarchy, but then they really resent it, you know, at the same time. So it's like, oh, I got to do it. It's almost like taking prerequisites for a course that really have nothing to do with your program, but you take it because you have to in order to get to your program. But you're sitting there like, oh, this is such a waste of time. I don't really care about this. That's how I feel like a lot of men think of women. They see you as a prerequisite to, you know, these classes that are so unnecessary in order to get to their goal. So that's the only way I can think of it. Like that's how some of them see us, which is fine. Yeah. My whole thing is stuff like this just don't bother me anymore because I already know where it's coming from. It's coming from a place of either jealousy or hate or resentment. And insecurity, you know, so.
Because, like, can we talk about what dicks look like? Or you're going to be over here talking about, like, a vagina scary. A vagina scared you. Imagine being a woman and you see a dick for the first time in your life. You're like, what?
And especially if it's tiny.
Right. Like, I'm saying, like, there's actually things to be scared of. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's vagina actually has teeth. Or, you know, whatever. But like dicks are weird and scary and have lots of weird and unsettling shapes and sizes. And like, what are you supposed to do with it?
They can be too skinny. They can be too short. They can be micro. They could have too much.
And we're leaving all of that comedic material on the table. I mean, SNL, if you're listening, hire me. All right, hire me and we can write some like real fucked up shit together.
Oh, they're not going to like what we have to say though.
I that's what I'm saying. It's like, why is it only like considered okay to do this to women? Like I'm not going to go there, but there's like so many jokes that could have been made regarding Stranger Things and all the monsters, you know, and like all the delivery mechanisms of how Vecna would pass on his darkness to the children. But we don't joke about that, do we? Because it would be inappropriate, because it would be fucking weird. But no, when it comes to just general misogyny, oh my God, look how scary, gross, and disgusting vaginas are. Well, why does everybody want to get into one or come out of one?
Exactly.
If they're so scary, gross, and disgusting. Like, I don't, it's
a cope. It's a coping mechanism.
Right. It is a cope. It has to be, because I struggle to find any other explanation for it.
This is how they deal with it. It's just like an incel. They really want to be picked by women, especially the types of women that they want. Most of them never will be. And so to cope with that, they say women are trash and let's kill the women and you deserve to be raped and you deserve to be thrown in a ditch. They say the most ridiculous things because they really wish that they could have women on their own terms, not the patriarchy terms, not societal terms, but on their own terms, which is usually depraved 9 times out of 10. Some depraved, you know, a lot of men are walking around because they can't just go up to women and punch us in the face at will. If they, you know, there's a lot of men that just want to harm women and they can't. And this is how they take their anger out on. So I tell women all the time, if you see men acting like vaginas are so disgusting and women are naggy and they nag you, there's nothing wrong with liking men if you're a man. The problem is, why do you have to trash women to go be with
in the process?
Men? Yeah, that's the problem.
Right. And I mean, I do want to throw it out there. Some men are just misogynistic, like they're straight, but they still hate women. Like it still is like that tension that straight men have to deal with.
Know.
Like,
I don't think straight men find vaginas disgusting. I don't see how that's even possible.
See, I'm trying to stay like on both sides of this debate because I know like, you know, I know gay men in real life, and it's like, I don't want to assume that every misogynistic man is gay, right? Because they're not. No. And it's not that, but it's just like they're trying to deal with something for sure. And I don't know if it's like the homosocial aspect or if it's actual, you know, repressed feelings, like sexual feelings, but it's like I'm trying to find a way to talk about it that's not, you know.
I know what you mean. And it would make more sense for them to pick something else to pick on about women. It wouldn't be the very thing that you are trying to get into 24/7. Just not necessarily because you're straight or whatever, because that's what the patriarchy said you're supposed to do. So a lot of men, in my opinion, are fighting their sexuality anyway. They don't even know what they want. But I don't see a lot of actual gay men who are like out there and proud. Like I don't see them really doing this at this level because they don't care. They like other men and they're happy Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I don't know, but
it's a whole
very
can of worms.
complicated.
It's like, it's so hard to make sense of because the patriarchy doesn't make sense. Like, so we're all trying to parse out this, like, all this stuff. And it's like, the whole thing is based on a lie. So
Yeah.
like, we're
They're
over
coping.
here trying to get to the bottom of it. It's like,
It boils down to them coping. They're just coping with something. This is how they cope.
well, unfortunately, speaking of men who want to harm women, they also want to harm children, apparently. We have some very disturbing news coming out. I think this study was published a couple of years back, but we're all just now kind of finding out about it. So let me read to you the headline. The headline says, millions of men, quote, would sexually abuse children if secrecy was assured. So the research by Edinburgh University's Childlight Institute highlights alarming trends in child abuse. Millions of men would have sexual contact with a child if they were certain that no one would find out, research has suggested. So they did a study involving 4,500 men, and more than 1 in 20 said they would have sexual contact with a child between the ages of 10 and 14 if they knew it would be kept secret. About 1 in 7 of those surveyed said they would consider sexual contact with a child if they were certain no one would find out. Researchers said the proportion equates to millions of men across the 3 countries if applied to current population census data. The 3 countries are UK, Australia, and the United States. Among British men, 1.6% said they would definitely have sexual contact with 12 to 14-year-olds if it stayed a secret, and 2.6% said it was very likely. It is estimated that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 5 boys have been sexually abused. Yeah, even worse so, they found out, they actually asked men, like, if they've ever behaved with a child inappropriately online or in person, and 1 in 10 admitted to doing that.
Mm-hmm. So just imagine the ones that didn't admit it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's a 1 in 20 said they would consider it, but it's like 1 in 10 actually admitted to doing it. Mm-hmm. So somebody's lying. Somebody's not like telling the truth because it seems like they're more hesitant to admit that they would do it than they are to admit that they've actually done it. Like 1 in 10 is more than 1 in 20. So it's kind of like the math is not adding up. That's crazy.
I'm not sure how they conducted these surveys, but I'm just going to assume that these men are always wondering who's going to see this. So they got to lie. Mm-hmm. They're not going to tell the truth. I mean, most men don't tell the truth about anything. So, I mean, they'll literally lie about everything. So if they're saying it's 1 in 10, I'm going to guess it's probably at least 5 or above out of 10. Just my own personal guess, based on the fact that most women are in some way, shape, or form sexually assaulted, sexually abused, or something by the time they're 18. Mm-hmm. So we know based on those actual, and that's only the women who report it. There's many more women who don't even report it. Right. So based on that, and this is like worldwide, I think. We hear about this in different parts of the world. So we know that the amount of men that would do this is way higher than 1 out of 10. It's it could be 7 out of 10. Who knows? But we know it's way more than 1 out of 10. That's the part that women have to pay attention to. So,
and yet when women try to talk about this to men will be like, "No, I don't know anybody that would do that. All my friends are good guys."
Proof that they lie.
None of my friends.
Proof that they lie. They're going to lie. They're not going to tell the truth about this
And
stuff.
a lot of times they're lying to cover their own ass.
Yeah.
Because if they tell you about the shit that their friends have done, their friends can tell you the shit that they've done.
Absolutely. So and many times they do it together with their friends.
Exactly.
So that's just another way that
bro
men...
code really is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, so that's so fucking disturbing. I don't even know that I want to keep talking about it, but that's disgusting. And to say that they should be ashamed of themselves is like the least. It's an understatement. Like, I want to dig a hole big enough. Anyways, we have one more.
Cinder blocks and then
just
toss them into the ocean.
Gladiator pits. I don't know. All right, we have one more video to respond to, and then we got to let Burb in here to tear up some stats with us. So let's go.
My daughter went from I love my dad to let me see what I can get out of here. And when she started looking at me as access to like material things.
You were an ATM. Now all of a sudden you weren't dad, you were an ATM.
Broke me. because it was like, I only want to be around him if I can get something out of him.
So let me ask you this: Did you sit down and have a conversation? How did you come to the realization that it was, yes, this is my child, but my child only wants to be around me because of what the access that she has to things, perfume, jewelry, clothes, makeup, whatever the case may be?
It's heartbreaking.
Men tell on themselves without ever knowing that they tell on themselves.
Every single day.
If your daughter has gone from, now I just want to see what I can get out of my dad, that says more about him and his relationship to his daughter than it does about her. She's a child.
First of all. The child in question is 11 years old, mind you. 11 years old.
Crazy. Because when I first heard this, I'm thinking his daughter, because I didn't see the picture of her, when I heard people talking about it, I'm thinking she's like late teens, early 20s maybe. Not that it would make it any better, but it would maybe be a little bit more understanding if she grew up to be like a spoiled brat that's just very
like
unappreciative.
Nepo baby, for sure, yeah.
Maybe. But she's 11. Are you kidding me? Like
11 is crazy. Like, yes, obviously they want things. Like, that's their whole like personality at that point, is like they're trying to consume as much as they can to figure out what works for them. And it's like, is it ideal? No, but like, it is what it is. We live in a capitalistic society. The children yearn to consume new things. Like, it is what it is. I'm sorry. Everyone's kid is this way. You're not special. Everyone's kid is always begging them for money to like buy Roblox or whatever, like have money in these apps or, you know, what have you.
Play
so
games,
it's like, you're
buy
not
a
fucking
bike,
special,
something.
bro.
Yeah.
You're not special.
My
They're
God.
children. They need to be entertained and they need to be provided for. How the fuck are you going to talk about like you need to cut off your daughter and she's 11 years old? Like,
and it's
these
also
are the
very
providers.
These protectors and providers are something else. What's happening? But he said it broke him, and that was another problem. Why did that break you?
Why?
I'm assuming...
Isn't that what you signed up for? You signed up to provide for a child. You're a man, you're a provider, you have a job. You make more money than the rest of the men, like by large.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're a comedian, whatever. You worked hard, you have money. What's the problem?
I'm assuming, I don't know the details, so if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to say I'm wrong. But I'm assuming that he is no longer with her mother. And that probably has something to do with it because men change their attitudes towards their kids when they no longer have access to the mother for whatever reason. So I'm just wondering, and even if they are still together, there's probably tension or something going on because why are you at 11? Now, I don't know what age she was when he realized this. I don't know if it's recently or maybe she was 9. I'm not sure. But why all of a sudden now why is it a problem ever that your daughter wants things? I just...
Like you can have, it's because they're lazy. They don't want to do the emotional labor because it's like what followed Shannon asking that question, like, so did you have a conversation with her about it? It was all this, it broke my heart. Like, and then he just kept talking about himself. Like he didn't say like, oh yeah, so we had a conversation about consumerism or capitalism.
Right.
Or we had this conversation about you got to earn money.
Yeah.
So that, you know, like I just watched a video of a dad taking his kid to the store and he gave him like $10 of like fake money and the kid had to like actually shop and like he only had that $10 to spend. It was very fascinating. But I could tell as a parent, that would be a pain in the ass for me to do because like you have to put in so much work to like explain things to kids so that they understand it tangibly. And it's like, that's your job as a parent. Why are you heartbroken? Why are you upset? Sit down and talk to her. Be like, honey, yeah, I know, I love you. I want to give you all these things, but I can't. Like that would just be impractical. Then what would you work for? Then what would you... It's so easy. And these men act like they're like heartbroken, like their mind is blown that their little daughter, you know, like they thought she would be one of those low maintenance, submissive women that was going to like grow up and not want a degree and not want to be independent. Like they, you know what I mean? They're like projecting all these things onto their daughters.
And I hate to go here. I really do. But especially in the Black community, when your daughter don't look the way... Because you would think that grown men don't want to objectify their daughters in that way, especially when they're young, but they do, like 100% of the time. And when your daughter doesn't look a certain way, you don't want to give her everything. But if she looked the way, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with his daughter at all. I'm not saying she's 11, she's a kid. But unfortunately, in our community especially, when your daughter don't turn out a certain way, or when they don't have the right hair texture and all that stuff, they treat you like shit. Like they don't really actually, you're not the preference. When you're not the kind of woman that they would date. And I know this sounds sick, but this is 1,000% real in our community. I'm telling you. They have a problem. They have a problem with giving you things and all of that. I guarantee you, if she looked differently, if she had a different skin tone, or something like that, I don't think this would bother him as much. And I know y'all are going to hear that and think that's crazy, but in our community, we know that that's the case, and that's really sad. You know, it's just like you have parents that want their kids to look a certain way. This is true. This is true in some Chinese cultures as well. You know, they're colorist too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True. It's true in a lot of culture, especially too when it comes to being like just conventionally attractive or not. Yeah. Fathers definitely differentiate.
They're the only ones that do, really. More than anybody.
We hear it all the time, even in fairy tales or the Bible. Oh, he had one daughter that was beautiful and one daughter that was just like whatever, a thorn in his side. Like, oh my God.
And every time you look at the differences of them, just like Trump and his daughters. There's one daughter and then there's the other. They all do this.
It's every community. It's just men in general. So like, weird. Oh my God. All right, we got to let Burb in here. So let's do that and we will be right back. All right, welcome back. We have BurbnBougie in the studio. Woo! Well, not in the studio, but we are giving her a warm studio welcome. She's in her own studio.
/ the kids' bedroom.
Right. And we're so excited to welcome Burb back to the show. Big friend of the show. I think we quote you at least like once every one or two episodes. I don't know. We're always like, shout out to BurbnBougie. So yes, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself just in case they forgot. And then we'll jump into discussing some interesting Gen Z trends that we've all observed.
So I am BurbnBougie, the feral feminist. That's where I am right now, the feral feminist over on YouTube. And I am that simply because I think that feminist is not enough. We need to be feral for whatever reason. It might change soon. But I'm here to support women. And you know, I'm getting a little bit tired, though, and I'm sure y'all have seen this, too, where some people just think that we're not enough because I'm married with children. I'm not feminist enough, or you two being in a relationship with somebody, it's not enough. And it's just like, when is a good time for one of us to speak? Exactly. Are we allowed to speak? Is it you need the perfect spokesperson for us to speak, or are we trying to just topple the patriarchy and can we just get to the point? So
all great questions.
Couldn't agree more.
I was going to say this was one of my like trends that I wanted to discuss that I've noticed actually. So I'm sure we'll come back to it.
All right.
So where can people find you and like what do you do like as far as your content?
So what do I do? I wake up daily to caffeinate, hydrate, and shenanigate.
I know that's right.
That is all about the shenanigans. And, you know, just upsetting people, getting the emotional tears, seeing if we can make some pick-me's upset. What we're trying to do is see if we can make somebody lonelier today. Let's see if we can get the birth rate. Let's see if we can get the birth rate to plummet to hell. We have so many things that we need to accomplish because there are too many women. Oh, hold on. And we need to make them hold their own nuts. That is what I wake up, and that's my game plan each day, on top of staying hydrated. You gotta
Oh, yeah.
You got to stay hydrated. You got to stay away from toxicity so we can age.
Look at that. Yeah, the skin is glowing. I know that's right.
Instead of like one of these dudes that's aging like a banana on the counter in the summer. That's how they're aging because they forget to drink water. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. My bad. But that's what I tend to do. Wake up, hydrate, caffeinate, shenanigate. We're aiming to let the birth rate plummet to hell, make these dudes lonelier, and, make sure that we touch the 20-somethings. Maybe even touch the teenagers so that they can know and understand that they don't have to be on team do too much.
Oh,
I love that.
I love that.
I love that.
So this actually brings us right into the discussion because to touch the 20-somethings, you have to know the 20-somethings. So what do we know about Gen Z? Like, what do we know about, the trends and stuff like that? Actually, before I ask that, thank you, Sovereign. Do you want to do it?
Yeah. So we ask every guest that comes on now, what's their hottest tea? What is your most controversial take?
Me with the hottest controversial take? I don't know.
I think you said a few, like almost in your introduction.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I feel like
she's full of hot takes.
I feel like I just went through the things that I can be a mom and want the birth rate to plummet to hell. People tend to really take exception to that. Like, how dare you? What? Like, yeah, this just makes sense to me that right now, as it stands, this country doesn't deserve more children. So let the birth rate plummet to hell. It makes sense to me.
Yeah. Right. And God forbid you be the one to say it and be a mom at the same time.
Right. Because when we're not moms, we don't have a say-so. But when you are a mom, now it's still a problem. So who gets to say?
You also don't have a say-so.
Yeah, so who gets
it's
to
not
say
fun.
It?
Yeah. Well, I love that hot take.
I do
yes. Too. So to speak into, the 25-year-olds, to be able to touch the 25-year-olds, we have to know them. So I know that Sovereign noticed some trends about Gen Z just being less traditional and less like feeding into the propaganda less. So do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. So I'm noticing there was a study, and I'll let Burb talk about that study, or an article, maybe it was an article, where even more so than millennials, Gen Z are opting out of having children at a much higher rate. They are minimalist as a whole, not every single one of them, but they are okay with not consuming as much as maybe the millennials or the Gen Xers. And the males are leaning more right politically, and the women are leaning more to the left, which that's
like a lot more.
The right, that's the appropriate side as far as I'm concerned, because, they're starting to realize the game. They're realizing all the ways that the millennials messed up, all the things that we've gone through. They're looking at the cost of living, the economy that we're in, the pandemic. They had to endure a lot of things as well. Millennials, we haven't had a break. But Gen Z are kind of like looking at the same things that we've gone through, and they're opting out even harder than the millennials. And they're talking about a new world order, and Gen Z is going to be the one to actually push that forward, if you ask me. And I remember when Burb did an article about China's lying flat. I want to say it was in 22. There's like a trend called lying flat, where they're basically like, I'm not going to work hard for nothing. Right. We're not going to get what the boomers got. We're not going to get what some of the Gen Xers got. The boomers got everything and pulled the ladder up behind them, so to speak.
Yeah.
The Gen Xers got a little bit of that, but millennials are in college debt, and we have, we were following the same life path as them to some degree, but we didn't get the same benefits. And so we're dealing with debt, and we're dealing with everything politically, our rights being stripped away again, all of that. But the lying flat is like, I'll just stay home with my mom, and I'm not going to aspire to get a house. I'm not going to aspire to have children. I'm just going to like eat avocado toast and call it a day, or whatever. So I couldn't be more proud, if I'm being honest. Because I thought millennials were going to be the ones to really change this whole thing around. And maybe we got the ball rolling a little bit, but they always say our children are our future. The youth are the future. So here we are. And they're saying, fuck all this shit. Knock all this shit over. We don't care. And I'm loving it.
You do love to see it. I mean, so with all that being said, Burb, where do you see things going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. Okay, so they are late 20s right now. Mm-hmm. So I think that you know, the birth rates are so telling. The birth rates speak to so much. So as more and more people opt out of having babies, what does that mean? That means that there are going to be more dogs. People are going to have more pets. Mm-hmm. That's just going to happen. The men are going to continue to get upset with pet owners. Mm-hmm. Real estate, the real estate market is going to be jacked up because people that are single don't need as much space. If they are one and done, they're going to need less space. So apartment living is going to be something. With the fact that boomers are going to start dying out. What's going to happen to those homes? What's going to happen to the communities that build themselves around schools? There's not going to be there's going to be less and less children. So what we see going on in China as far as school closures and that kind of thing, we're going to start seeing it here. And we're going to start seeing it here because I think that the 20-somethings of right now, they are a lot more headstrong because they grew up in a time, they went through the pandemic. So, and then they're seeing how politics is it's really impacting our reproductive rights. So what are we seeing? Sterilizations. We're seeing women just completely opt out because I don't remember women our age be so hardcore about being child-free.
Nope.
The fact that we're seeing these 20-somethings already say this, because I've been doing this for a while, and the fact that I have someone that I can make a post and I can call for the 20-somethings to come over and speak to me. I have so many 20-somethings that are like, nope, I've watched. Because they came up with phones in their hands. Mm-hmm. So they had access that we might not have had. We were still part of the ride or die community, because that was still early 2000s. We were still part of the struggle love. They were still talking about the struggle love and stuff. They're like, nah, we're going to go ahead and skip over that. And I'm so happy for them.
Love
Facts.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that. And I did want to talk about sort of the other side. So we do see this push for a more liberal politics and we're not having kids, etc. But that seems to be coming from the women's side. That seems to be coming from the young women's side. And just in case you guys didn't catch it earlier, the Gen Z cohort is people born from between 1997 and 2012. So millennials are pretty much all in their 30s now. So anyone 30 and under that's an adult right now is basically a Gen Z. So we do see that young women are voting more politically left and everything like that. But there is also this almost hidden conservative side to Gen Z that's being headed up by the young men. Mm-hmm. So can you speak to that? What's going on on that side of things?
Well, obviously I can't really speak to it, but I think that the way women are saying, I do not want to date conservative men, the way women are saying no MAGA in their dating profiles, I think that they're going to crumble because so many of these people, they're going to want to connect with women. And once they see that their politics are poison and that women don't want them, I think that they're going to crumble. I think that after a couple of years that they're going to have to adapt. They're going to have to because I don't see women changing. And what we see with these people, they seem to barely have a grasp on washing their butts, on cooking, on doing certain things like their own resumes, properly knowing how to use a period and comma. So what are they going to organize in real life? And so as more and more of the old heads finally die out, because many of these people couldn't live to 54 without a woman. They're aging in fast forward, right? So if the old heads keep dying out and they can barely lead themselves to the bathroom by themselves, what are they going to do without a woman? And so I think that we got to look at things long term. Like if we convince women to pull way back, don't make them doctor's appointments, don't help them with a resume, don't help them with an application. Don't tell them to go drink some water. Just don't. They're going to continue to crumble. And if they get to the point where, they're struggling with toe amputations and high blood pressure and ED at 32, then they're going to have to submit to us.
Absolutely.
They're going to have to.
I love it.
That's so just me much. Being look at them. Look at them. They're getting old people diseases earlier because the mom to wife pipeline is drying up.
It is drying up.
They want to get married, but the mom to wife pipeline is drying up. And so they have always had a woman to take care of things, but their moms are not going to be around forever. And the women are saying, no, we've got to convince the ladies to do their part, not live with them, pour into women in themselves, and, like girl cousins, their sisters, their daughters, that kind of thing. And let the chips fall where they may. We already know that young women are going to college at a rate of 2 to 1. So that means that it's going to be even less men graduated from college. Who's going to get into these leadership roles? Leadership roles in media, government, employment. Who's going to be in the leadership roles? I know that this is something that we got to think about in 5 to 10 year increments, because it's not like these people are really holding on to these positions, but they're not going to be able to sustain it.
And like you said, many of them are near death anyways. So if, at some point, it's just going to take over. But what do you think about, so I know about when the administration decided to downgrade the industries that women were dominant in, like nurse practitioner, teacher, counselor, and all that. Do you think that will sustain itself? Trying to kick women out of things. Because right now, we know women would be better leaders. We know that. And the men know that. And that's why they've been keeping us down and keeping us out of certain industries for so long. They don't want us in that position. But if the men are dying off or getting their toes amputated and having ED at 32, who, like you said, who else is going to be in these positions? So I'm wondering, because I already know this whole thing is going to backfire. Everything that they're doing to women's industries will backfire. But I just wonder, how long do you think it'll take before they start to realize?
I really think that a lot has to crumble with this administration, because there were some women that voted for this.
Right.
There were some people who set out. I think that they need to really, really feel it. And when I'm making my videos, I say they need to feel it for 3 to 7 years. But now I've shifted it. I want them to feel it for 7 to 10 years, the impact that they have made. But the whole thing with the industries is going to backfire on them. And for the most part, he's done all of this stuff with executive orders. He hasn't been able to really pass any laws because they're so inept at actually governing. So I don't think that this is going to be lasting, but I do believe that he's upset enough of his own people to make them, if they don't want to flip and vote D, at least they will be so disillusioned that they will just sit out. If they sit out, cool, because they're so upset about all of the things that they've taken away. Like there are nurses who are MAGA. There are teachers who are MAGA.
Right.
There are moms that have special needs kids, and they're sitting up here gutting all of these things. We need these healing these healing professions, teachers, librarians, they're sitting up here going for all of these things. It's like, okay, so after you make sure that the CNAs are not able to get paid, so who's going to take care of your Uncle Earl? Because Betsy left him a long time ago, and
it's all up to women, right? We're the infrastructure,
Right.
and they just don't want us to get paid for it. Like as soon as we figure out a way to get paid for it, it's like, oh no, that's not a real job.
And
what gives?
Right, and the thing is like the women of right now. No, not the women. The teenage girls of right now. I hope that they have women in their lives that are saying, okay, so right now is not the time to go into this industry. If you're going to go into any industry, you're going to have to shift to that. But that's going to be the thing. These people have no foresight. A lot of those CNAs, those nursing positions, were being filled by immigrants. So on top of saying to the women of right now, the young ladies that are going into schooling, nope, we're going to downgrade your professional degree. On top of that, they're telling immigrants that they're not welcome to come here. Or if you do come here, you're risking ICE detention. Or if you do come here, your employer has to pay $100,000 or something like that. So they are limiting. Okay, who wants to be a nurse in Idaho?
Right.
Who wants to be a nurse in Wyoming? Who
Unless they're getting paid, yeah.
Who wants to go to South Dakota or North Dakota? In those places, there are like more people in the city of Chicago than there is in Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota, in Idaho. There's more people in Chicago put together. Nobody wants to go to these places. So they're going to cause their own people to die out because they're not pushing for professionals to go into these spots.
Right.
It's like stepping on a rake and wondering why your head hurts every time.
Same thing with the abortion rights. A lot of, thinking about Texas in particular, a lot of healthcare professionals left the state because they couldn't do their jobs. And it's like, okay, so the rest of y'all
to get sued.
Yeah, the rest of y'all who want to get pregnant, good luck. Y'all ain't gonna even have no fucking doctors. Y'all ain't gonna have no nurse practitioners. Y'all ain't gonna have nobody. Good luck. You're gonna have to if you start having a complication, you're gonna have to get in your car and drive 17 hours or 10 hours to the next state to be seen. Hopefully you're in an area where the next state don't have the same policies as Texas. Like y'all, nobody thought about any of this. They were too busy trying to hurt other people, thinking that they wouldn't be hurt themselves. And so you're right, Burb. They have to feel it for the next 7 to 10 years.
7 to 10. And that's the thing. Like, I'm born
and the fact that women voted for this.
I was born and raised in Oklahoma. And when I was getting ready to apply for schools, I just knew I needed to get out of Oklahoma. So I went to the Ohio State University. I didn't realize that Ohio was going to end up being the cluster F that it is today. But college campuses are pretty liberal, but that's neither here nor there. But when these 17-year-old girls, these 18-year-old girls start really thinking about where they want to go to college, this is going to cause a pink migration. So this, like, ever since the overturning of Roe v. Wade, there are certain schools that are not seeing people sign up. They're not coming over to Texas to go to their OBGYN things because they're not going to get the same type of education. So on top of the pink migration, they're losing out on these dollars. So at some point, some of these states are going to have to consider women don't want to come here. And if women don't want to go to a place and it's just a bunch of dudes left, the younger dudes are going to end up needing to go where the women go. So it's going to
they're going to cause a ruckus.
I would prefer them to just cause the ruckus where they are and destroy wherever they are and leave women alone.
But they're not. They're never going to do that.
So and then they would actually have to have someone organized for them to move away and that kind of thing.
I love that. Yeah, you keep saying that, and I'm like, I hadn't even thought about that. Like, they're not good at getting organized. No. Like,
No.
Hello.
They're not like you. Have y'all seen like when I'm always habitually in Reddit posts.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all seen how they talk when it's about male loneliness? And I don't know if you can you say suicide here? Can we say that?
Yeah.
Okay. When they're talking about male loneliness and suicide rates and stuff, they are such victims. And I will, like, if I jump into something, I will say, this is something where men need to organize for men. They tell us all the time that they have built society, that they build oil rigs, that they build streets. Okay, cool. Build yourself an organization to tackle your mental health and mentor some men.
I love it.
You're just a bitter misandrist. You just, I'm like, but
it's like, no, we have faith in you.
Yeah,
like,
you're
rebuild.
Like all of these things. You can build an oil rig. You can build an engine. Why can't you build something for your mental health? And they get so mad that women are not stepping into that role. They will let us know, like, we can talk about violence, and then they'll be like, well, men face more violence. Okay, from who? From other men. Okay,
yeah.
So
exactly.
Okay, so we're there. Men are more violent to other men and women. So if we tackle men's violence, we're all going to do better. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear us say these things, but because they don't want to step into the role where they have to actually do something. They want us to organize it and say that they are the leaders. Yeah. Did y'all, okay, Martin Luther King holiday just passed, right? Did y'all know that he did not organize the Montgomery bus boycotts?
Yeah, somebody
he did not. He did not. It was the women that had women that had already had that in place, organized it, and then the men came in, the men of the churches came in and took it from them and placed Martin Luther King Jr. in the leadership role. I'm doing that on purpose. Of course. In the leadership role for him to be the figurehead. And for him to get all of the glory. And this is what they kind of expect women to do. Like when they were leading the civil rights movements, women would be in the background, printing things, hanging up papers, baking things, making plates to sell. Women were doing the things like walking so that they could boycott and all of this and making phone calls, all of these things. But even when it came to marching in the civil rights marches, they made the women get at the back. They had speeches. They wouldn't let the women talk. And that's what they want. They want women to do the work, but let the men take the glory for their efforts.
It's funny how they brag about building all this infrastructure, whatever, and then it turns out that if you remove women, there is no infrastructure. Like buildings don't do anything on their own. They just stand there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you have to have somebody to run it. You have to have somebody. And it's usually those people are women. And then, men come in, skim off the top, take all the credit and pretend like they were doing it all along. It's very, it's tale as old as time.
And you've talked about this before. You've talked about how the patriarchy would crumble without the unpaid labor of women. We're seeing it with the churches. There was an article last year that was talking about 15,000 churches were going to close this year. And I am so happy for it.
Praise God.
If
hallelujah.
all of these churches start to crumble.
Literally. I can't wait. We're doing our job. I think we're on the right path, and I'm so glad that more and more women are choosing themselves, because that's what you would have to do in order for the patriarchy to crumble. You have to choose yourself. And what was the quote? The moment you start feeling sorry for men, that is the beginning of your misfortune.
Absolutely.
As a woman, you're doing yourself a disservice by feeling sorry for a group of men who created an entire system for them to thrive, and they're still not thriving.
Only purpose.
That is literally their problem.
Purpose The only purpose of the patriarchy is to ensure that men thrive, supposedly, right? Like, and it's like, look around. You guys are not doing good. But this kind of brings me to the conversation that, yes, like some women are choosing themselves, and yet, disappointingly, a lot of young women are hoping to get chosen. We affectionately call them pick-me's around here. So yeah, I wanted to hear your take on that because I've heard, and this is like the closest thing that I can, I guess, attribute it to, but a lot of people are saying that women can sort of feel the winds of change coming, that men are sort of going to try and take over. They're going to try and do their little extinction burst. And so this is the reason why a lot of women are turning to tradwifery or the whole like submissive woman thing. And I wouldn't say a lot, but we just see this is another trend that we sort of see within Gen Z, because all of a sudden traditional gender roles have become really important to men. And women who do see relationships or whatever, children, marriage in their future, they're starting to sort of understand that like they're going to have to take a back seat. They're going to have to, at least cosplay as this trad wife, whatever. I don't know. Is that a trend that you've noticed, or is that just something that, I don't know, people are saying? It seems like a white woman thing in particular. I will say that. Like, it seems like white women just get uncomfortable with the idea of actual change. And they would almost rather turn the clock back to the 1950s than fight, tale as old as time, another tale as old as time, than fight alongside Black women. So what's your take on all that?
So obviously we have the people cosplaying as trad wives, the trad wife influencers. But when, this is the reason why I continue to speak on these trad wives that are the discarded wife appliances. These women become discarded. And once you become a discarded wife appliance, like that blonde lady, Courtney, that has been telling her story. Y'all know that blonde lady that's talking about how she was a stay-at-home mom and her husband is divorcing her. When you are a discarded wife appliance and you pull yourself out of the workforce for a decade or two, you're jacking yourself up. And so these 20-somethings, they can speak on it, and they can choose to not listen to us. They can. And they will. Some people have to touch the stove for them to know it's hot. But we do have to understand, we have to have some grace for the people that are born and raised in that situation and mindset. So you have like a computer being programmed from the time that many of these people are little girls. And then they grow into women that have had this indoctrination for 2 decades. And so they're just marching to the programming that they were given. So that's one of the main reasons why we have to continue to just speak. And the religiosity has to continue to decrease. That way women can start thinking for themselves, because when they are religious, they are following some rule book that decreases their humanity. Like they're not able to have their own brain that is like looking around and responding to what's going on in the environments. So we've got to get to the root cause of why this is even coming up, and get to the point where women are thinking humans that are making the best decisions for themselves.
I completely agree with that. I do, and some women get upset with me for saying this, but a lot of women just want to be lazy, and that's going to cost them later. They're like, I don't want to work. I just want a man to take care of me. And it's like, you have every right to do that, but you're going to be discarded sooner or later. So and no woman believes it's going to be them. But look how many women it's happening to. And it's going to keep happening, because males haven't changed, and most of them aren't going to. So they're still going to be selfish. They're still going to discard you when they get tired. When you're no longer the wife appliance, when you start malfunctioning, your ass is grass. And so now what? And so this is why we advocate over here, especially to at least have your own education, your own money, your own resources, because at some point when you get discarded, what are you going to do? How are you going to survive and feed your kids?
And the propaganda around it is so disgusting and insidious because it'll be like, what's the difference? Like, you're going to work and like submitting to a man over there anyway. God. You're submitting over to a boss anyway. What's the difference if you just submit to your husband? Paycheck. And it's like, the money.
That's the
fucking money. We still live in a capitalistic society. And it's like, I understand people saying, I don't dream of labor. I don't want to, per se work. Maybe I want to stay home and take care of my family, et cetera. You need to lobby the government, not a man. Okay, right, if we want women's work and women's labor to be valued properly, to where a mother doesn't have to go to work full time and also be burdened with taking care of the children full time because the husband is, a deadbeat or is not around or whatever, we need to fight for that. We need to fight for women's labor to actually be compensated because we want them to keep popping out babies. Like, it turns out it's not women's choice. It turns out it's not really like up to us. The government will apparently take huge and horrifying measures in order to make sure that births continue happening, but who's paying for the labor? And it's like kind of understandable that a lot of women, this has been like the pendulum of feminism has been swinging back and forth in Russia like this for a long time because women, like when I was growing up, all the Russian women were like doctors, professors, not like teachers, professors, college professors, scientists. They were working at like our equivalent of NASA, whatever. And yet a lot of them today are going to be like, well, I just wanted to, stay home and take care of the kids. Because what happened was they were going to work and the men were not stepping up and they were having to do both anyway. Yeah. So it's like, I understand, like, I hate to insinuate that a lot of women are lazy. Like, I understand if you're like, I just want to be a stay-at-home wife, like, I don't want to have kids, like, whatever. But women who want to have kids, women who want to have families, they're not lazy for not wanting to work. It's because they know that their husband is not going to pick up the slack. So they might as well work or not work. Like, it's going to be so stressful for them.
But this is the reason why I get so irritated with that. Number one, I've been a stay-at-home mother, but now I am a work-from-home mother. But I've been a stay-at-home mother. Before I became a stay-at-home mom, I was a personal trainer. I'm a little chubby now. Look, I'm 45 with 2 kids.
Oh my God.
But still, I was a personal trainer. And for just a smidge of time, as a stay-at-home mom, I was like, let me get a part-time job. I was skipping to work. Like, it didn't matter that it was snow outside. I was so happy to get outside because when you're a stay-at-home mother, you're working from morning to night. I used to think that kids would take a nap. There would be nap time. I would have time to read. I would have time to decompress. They don't do that. My kids do not take naps.
Right. Yeah. You never know. So you never know what's going to happen.
You get no off time. Like, and it gets redundant. And if you live in a place that has snow, it can be very isolating as well. Some women think they want to do this. They really do. But when you are in the middle of it, especially if you were programmed to do it and you were pushed to do it because this was, religion or whatnot, you can become very resentful and bitter if you are pushed to do it in your 20s. And now that we have social media and you can see what other 20-somethings are doing, those mothers that are now saddled down with 2 children by the time they're 25, they become resentful. But this is the reason why we've got to keep on telling these stories. I know that we don't know what's going to happen with the TikTok, but you need to be telling the story. You need to be telling. We all need to keep on telling these stories because it needs to go further. It needs to go wider. It needs to hit different countries because some people don't know what they don't know. They don't know that you can be child-free. They don't know that you can be married and decide to not have kids. They don't realize that
That's
you can
a big one.
do these things. So we need women to actively choose what they want to do in their lives versus just go along and hit these certain milestones.
Yeah. Absolutely agree because it gets framed as like, I don't want to work. Well, guess what? You're going to labor. Like, you're still going to labor just for free. Especially if you're like, I'm going to find a man to take care of me. You have no idea what these men are going to put you through
in order for them
that
to
allowance.
Yeah,
for them to take care of you.
And when I said lazy, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
for sure.
Wanting somebody else to take care of your human life. Like,
it's
even though
you came
you came in this world. I say this all the time. You came in this world by yourself. You're leaving by yourself. It doesn't matter if you got kids or not. It doesn't matter if you're married or not. If you're single, celibate, you're leaving the way you came. So it is not anybody else's responsibility to take care of you. They can say they will. Many men say, baby, you don't have to work. I'll take care of you. And then when they get tired of you, your ass is outside with your kids and you are right on the poverty pipeline. All for what? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot let somebody, even if you choose to be a stay-at-home wife and mother, that's fine. But you cannot let somebody else, you can't put your livelihood, your health, your resources completely in the hands of someone else, especially not no fucking man. Because they're the most unpredictable people on the planet. They're so unpredictable that they become predictable. Because we already, in most cases, I already know how many women's stories is going to end. They end almost the same way almost every time. So when I'm saying lazy, I'm saying be a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife and mother if you want. That's fine. Just don't put your entire life in somebody else's hands, because that's just not smart. And if you do it, don't do it for a long period of time. Do it for a short period of time. Still have a backup plan. Because we're seeing how it's working out for the women who gave their lives to their husbands, who no longer find them attractive anymore. Do you remember that lady that you had on your on YouTube who said that her ability to feed herself and her kids depended completely on if that man was still attracted to her or not? And when he discarded her, she was homeless with nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
And it may, oh God.
I forgot her name.
Her name is Jenny.
Jenny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Life Takes Two.
Yeah. She has good content.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that she's telling her story. All of us need to keep on telling these stories, because like the cute makeup and the cute little 1950s dresses and stuff, that might attract somebody. But that unpaid labor, like it's something else. It's something else.
Unpaid labor that most men don't appreciate and don't see as valuable. That makes it 10 times worse, because
because at the end of the day, it still comes down to how much he wants to fuck you.
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't,
it's a wrap.
It's over. It's over, because they don't notice the labor in the first place.
They don't even think it's real.
You're supposed to do.
A lot of men don't even think the mental load is real.
You get to stay home and play with the baby all day.
Yeah, that's what they think. You just get to stay at home and just make a meal, play with the kids, go to yoga, and it's like, no, that's not. Women work hard for free, literally.
The select few women maybe get to do that.
But
maybe
most
Nora
of them
Smith
don't.
gets to do that, but
because Nora Smith is not a real trad wife.
Exactly. Because she works.
None of them are real trad wives.
She could leave that man tomorrow
Absolutely.
and be absolutely fine. Her and all of her children will be provided for life by those brand deals that she worked hard to get. And I will say this, like she doesn't refer to herself as a trad wife, but it gets murky because it's like, well, what are you promoting though? But
exactly.
And speaking of trad wife culture, it's kind of started with wearing milkmaid dresses to the club. And now club culture is dead. Now, like, women don't get to dance on the tables anymore. Men are in all the VIP sections. They're dancing on the bars. They're blocking all the views. I don't know if you all saw that girl talking about the Sierra event, the event that Sierra threw. And she was like, yeah, a lot of the girls left because the guys all stood up in front, blocked our entire view to stand there and do nothing but to get their phone up in Sierra's face and just stand there all creepy. And like, it's just not fun to go to the club anymore.
Yeah,
and I'm like, It's like, it's weird because Gen Z has these two different sides, you know, it's like liberal, progressive, etc. But then also they're very much affected by the mass surveillance of it all. You know, a lot of them are like, we can't go to the club and have fun anymore because anyone could just record you dancing funny, or, you know, you're all sweaty, whatever. And then they're going to make fun of you on the internet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I hadn't even considered that. That happened maybe to like one or two people during my entire lifetime, or like my entire adolescence and like mid-20s or whatever. So that just wasn't the culture. And then you see all of this coinciding with kind of the purity testing and the purity culture of it all too, because it almost seems like a lot of women are like, well, being a feminist is this impossible standard now. Like we kind of talked about this in the beginning of the show. It's like, what does it take for you to be considered a feminist nowadays? Is it you know, that you're like 4B, or what is it? Because we're apparently, some people don't think we're feminist enough. And it's like, it's been this very interesting,
I know,
double-sided like experiment. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. And I'm almost wondering if like women are like, I'm not wondering, this is actually true. A lot of Gen Z women think that feminism is cringe. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, this version of it, I agree. I feel like it's cringe because we're not on the same page, because the page has to be the exact same.
Right. So in my 20s and going into my 30s, in the Black community in particular, wigs was a big thing during this time, like early 2000s, mid like 2005, up until like, it's still a big thing, but there was a period where it was this huge thing, because at one point, when we were younger, wearing wigs was just an old lady thing. That wasn't something that young girls did. And then, you know, next thing you know, in the 2000s, it became this huge thing, the lace fronts, and they look real, and the baby hairs and whatever else. And so my version of Gen Z complaining about people taking videos of them was watching women get their wigs snatched off at the clubs. And so that radicalized me, because I used to be a wig wearer, but I never like glued wigs to my hair or anything. I never did it. I just would wear a wig for a couple weeks or whatever, and now wear my real hair again. But that did it for me. I'm like, every time I turned around, I was seeing women getting their wigs snatched off at the club. So it's like, you know, so it's like, oh my God. So
people hate women having fun, dude.
Oh, I know. Sucks. And it was always a guy that did it too. It was always a dude. Like I can't. The only
and it's just like, why would you go to the club if that's gonna
because
happen?
Women will. I think exactly.
Yeah,
it was like always a guy. The only time it was a woman doing it is if they got into a fight or something. And of course, women just automatically go for the hair. But that was I think that was my millennials version of like, everybody's recording, and it was always caught on camera. Somebody was recording it. Somebody put it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. But yeah, most of it, for the women who thinks feminism is cringe, from my perspective, most of it has to do with still being male identified. That's really all it is. Like, these women care too much about what men think. Because any woman in her right mind who knows feminism allows you to work, allows you to have an opinion, allows you to have a phone, allows you to even be able to talk in public. And they don't realize feminism is the only reason why you're able to do these things. Seriously. Go to school, get a college degree and all that stuff. So for them to say it's cringe or I don't understand it or I'm not a feminist, even though you're a woman, is crazy to me. But that's because men don't like it and they don't want to be not liked by the men. There's no woman in her right mind would have a problem with feminism being a woman. Yeah. Like, it's just so weird that you can say, I'm a woman, but I don't care about women's rights. That's just very strange. And they don't even realize that that's exactly what they're saying is, I don't care about my rights. I don't care about really anything. Whatever the men say, go.
So, and the thing is, we, at that particular point with the purity test, it does get on my nerves. And it gets on my nerves when I'm in these Reddit groups, because I do follow these Reddit groups like Child Free, the Child Free Reddit group, the 4B Movement Reddit group, not because I am child free or 4B. It's just because I support women doing things. But sometimes some women get so antagonistic towards it becomes a religion of sorts. Like, if you are not as pure as me, then I can't even listen to you. Like, some man jumped into one of my comment sections and he said, y'all sitting up here listening to this woman and she has a husband and 2 kids. And some woman who's been in my comments before said, I did not know that she had kids. And here she is putting out 4B movement content. I said, nope. I never claimed 4B at all.
Right.
I said I support women doing what they want to do with their lives. Right. And it's like, and if you're like, what do you expect me to do? Like, divorce my husband so that I can have a message?
Like, throw my children in the trash? Like, what do you
the kids are here.
Like, sorry.
I think I became more radicalized after I had my first child.
Right. They don't realize this is how women get there.
Yes. My God.
Once I had my first child, because I used to think you child-free women, like, I didn't have a kid. I didn't have any kids. But I thought that women who said that they did not want kids, I thought that they were kind of some anomalies, some oddballs. But then once I had children, I said, absolutely, stay child-free. And I didn't even say it maliciously, because I'm like, these kids deserve for you to be all in. If you're not going to be all in, you do not need to do this.
Right.
Go brunch. Go travel. Go buy something nice. And like I said, I'm not even saying this in a way that's being snarky or anything. Yeah. But it's just like, absolutely, I will live vicariously through your pictures because I am stuck right here. And I didn't have my first child until I was 33 years old. So I had time to live in different states, to try on different careers, to figure out who I was as a woman. But some of these women that decide to be a stay-at-home mother or just become a stay-at-home mother in their 20s, not even because they actively chose that, they become miserable because they didn't have a chance to go clubbing, to learn how to salsa dance, to go to Miami for spring break or anything. They didn't have a chance to do all of that. And then that's when they start having that FOMO, that fear of missing out, because they didn't have a chance to do anything with their 20s. That's why, another thing I say, don't give your 20s to a man.
Facts.
Don't give your 20s to a man. That needs to be their time when they're building themselves, learning their voices, being assertive, talking about boundaries is something that we have to train our brains. It has to be trained like a muscle, because many of us, especially in the Black community, we couldn't have privacy, boundaries, an opinion. Having an opinion meant being disrespectful.
Yep.
You were disrespectful.
You was a smart
if you had an opinion.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I mean, this has been a fascinating conversation about just where things are going, what we can expect to see. And, you know, I think a lot of advice has been given in this situation, and just piggybacking off of basically what you just said. Is there anything else that you want young women, and perhaps even the occasional young man that listens to this program? I know that they're rare, but I know that they're out there. What would you want them to know? Like, based on what you've observed, like, what should everyone be doing right now?
So once you get to the point where you are unbothered about a man's opinion, his validation, regardless of if it's a compliment or an insult, your life will change.
Facts.
This goes for both men and women.
So many people perform femininity for the head pats or validation of men. And so you would go so far if you are not worried about what they're going to think about your hair, how much you weigh, what kind of outfits you're wearing. You will, like, some people perform for them versus just learning who they are and what they want. They will have the opportunity to grow within themselves once they become unbothered and decenter themselves from seeking the validation and head pats of men.
So
Amen.
True. I love when she say head pats.
It really is head pats. And men do the same thing. Like, you're performing masculinity for those same head pats. So, like, wake up. You know, you need to be fighting for your rights, fighting for your liberation, and not performing. So again, huge thanks, huge shout out to BurbnBougie. Make sure that you go and follow her on all the platforms.
Oh, yo, I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers.
Okay.
I got 96,000 as of right now. I'm close to 97,000. I'm at 96,637 at the time of filming this.
Okay.
If you have people on your platforms that have not followed my YouTube, because this is where I get paid, is on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm worried about. Follow me on YouTube because Mama trying to get that 100,000 plaque.
That's right.
Yes.
I've been,
and she hustled. She worked hard, so she deserves it. Yes.
If you want to stay up to date, seriously, she's the only channel you need to follow.
I totally agree. She's always up to date with everything. And she does her research and she cites her sources. So if Burb said it, it's true. Just like how TMZ used to be. If it's on TMZ, I don't know. I don't know if it's like that now, but at one point it was like if TMZ said it, it's true. So it's the same with Burb. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, 100%. All right. Well, we're gonna let you go. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Bye, y'all.
All right. See you.
All right, welcome back, y'all. We are here to sift through and find out what is tea and what is trash. More specifically, we're sifting through feminist trends to bring y'all the hottest takes. So in previous segments, tea or trash segments, we've discussed whether brands co-opting feminism in their ads is tea or trash. We've talked about plastic surgery. And this time we're going to watch just a random video on how to bully men. And we're going to decide if that is tea or trash. Let's see.
Hey, quick little tip. When you're on the stair climber, don't lean on the bars. You need to just hands off, engage your core. Hands on hips is best, but then you're getting the most out of your workout. Hope that helps. Okay, if you don't want people staring at that bald spot, wear a hat or invest in a surgery. It's incredibly distracting. It's like you're begging us to look at it. I just don't believe that men should have the right to wear open-toed shoes in public unless they're getting court-mandated monthly pedicures. I'm sorry, it's just, against nature. You could probably be funny if you learned how to deliver a joke or what one is. What's your favorite movie? The Godfather. Okay, so just like surface level man stuff. Not even gonna try to have a personality of your own. How about those low birth rates, huh? Yikes. Too bad you can't do anything about it. Hey, sicko, put those toes away. There's children around. You disgust me. You could kill someone with those toenails, pervert. It's just a fact that women have higher tolerance for pain than men do. It's nothing to be upset about. It's just that, you know, you had a cold last week and you were out for 5 days and you whined the whole time. I have a cold right now and I'm on my period and you don't even know I'm suffering. But you have, like, stuff you can do too. Like, you can chop trees down, which is cool.
I love it. Oh my God.
So thank you to @CarrotTime for providing this invaluable,
wonderful,
absolutely invaluable material, because I think it's tea. I don't know. I think a lot of people would be like, isn't this just reverse body shaming? Isn't this just misandry?
Yeah. Fine.
Okay.
Whatever.
I mean, literally.
And that's what it's going to be too. And too bad there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. I don't think we're setting any movements back with that. I feel like at some point we've tried being body positive towards men and everybody else. And it just is not having the results that were, because they just take it for granted. Mm-hmm. They're like, well, yeah, obviously dad bods are hot.
Literally. Oh my God.
They didn't even like, that just didn't even faze them. Nobody argued, they were like, yeah, obviously. Bald spots are hot. Obviously, dad bods are hot. Obviously, like nasty toenails are sexy. Meanwhile, with women, they'll be like, gray hair. She's an old woman. Yes. She's a witch. She's got a gray hair. She's got a smile line on her face. Like, God forbid she's old, like, and wrinkled.
Oh my God.
She's 10 pounds overweight, so like no man will ever want her. Yeah. Sorry.
She's hit the wall. She's washed up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I would say that's tea. I'm not really worried about body positivity with men. I guess if anyone can convince me otherwise, please.
No, that shit
feel
is
free.
sealed.
But
no, we're done.
Yeah. Not really here to protect their feelings because, again, I think we'll see more results if we actually apply it this way because it's a little bit of like forced empathy, a little bit of forced like, wait, is this how we talk to women? Is this why they're always mad at us?
Yep.
I don't know.
You goddamn right.
Yeah. Okay. How about tea or trash? Women written by men in movies, aka the strong female character trope.
Women written by men in most cases is trash to me because they typically don't always hit the right points and they don't usually portray us in the right way. There are some. I think of Mark Cherry, the creator of Desperate Housewives. When I tell you that man is a genius to me as far as portraying women's characters, I mean, he hit every aspect of womanhood, and I love that. So there are some that are very gifted at that, but most of the time, it's trash to me because it's like every woman has to be a mother, or they have to be miserable, or they're old and washed up, or they're the mean bitch at work that nobody likes. You know, it's always something. We can never just exist and be in a great place across the board and then leave it at that. They always got to come in and like, and even if they start the characters off in a great light, it always ends badly. Do you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, I think about Samantha from Sex and the City, how she had to get cancer because she didn't have kids. And because she was promiscuous. You know, I'm just using her as an example. They always have to find a way to ruin it, even if they do write them a good character.
I was going to say, the other thing too is like a lot of times when men write a strong female character, they're writing her just like a man.
Yep.
So it's like you can be a strong female character, but it won't look like a man's like fantasy of what they think women would be like if we could just be allowed to be the thing we really want to be, which apparently is men. And it's like, I wouldn't be like that. Okay, listen, I'm a strong female character. Like I like to think in my own life that I don't take shit, like I speak up for myself, etc. But like it would not just because they're so blind to the privilege of the patriarchy, they write women like they think they're going to get away with all this stuff. They're like, oh yeah, women just aren't doing all this because they're afraid. Here, let me show you guys a woman who's outspoken and talks all this shit to men and like whatever. It's like the reason we don't do that in real life, the reason that we're not just like out here all the time running our mouth or you know, like making a show out of like humbling men or whatever is because we could die.
Right.
So when you write a female character like that, it's fucking stupid. I'm so sorry, but you're a dumb man and you don't actually understand the patriarchy. And you write women characters as if they do not fear for their life because that's how you get to live. And I can see right through you, bucko. Like you're not fooling me. You know, you're just writing women as if like they were men. And it's like, we're not men. That's why we do things that y'all don't understand. That's why we're so mystifying to you, because we have to all the time live in the shadow of the fact that we're not men and the fact that men disrespect us for that. But they also don't want us to act like men. That's the other thing is usually these women, kind of like you said, by the end of the show, they end up getting humbled. They end up having a baby or whatever. I'm even thinking of like, as much as I liked the movie, One Battle After Another, it definitely had a woman written by a man in it. I ran immediately to be like, who's his wife? Who's he writing this based on? Like, who, like, why? I don't know. Again, it was a good movie. It was fine. But I was just like, okay, this is not how we see women acting in real life. This is like, you're doing too much. You're acting as though she wouldn't have been humbled long before all of this. You're acting like she's had this strong, supportive network of men that were like, yes, girl, like, you go, girl. Like, no, women don't oftentimes have that. So anyways, yeah, I think that's trash. Okay.
Messy female characters.
That's a hard one for me.
For me, it depends on what's going on for the most part. But I'm going to say T only because I've always enjoyed the female antagonist in most movies. The messy one. I'll give you a perfect example. Since you just seen New Jack City recently. Remember the woman, Unica? I think that was her name. The one that
got in like the middle of
G-Money,
everything.
So she was funny to me. Like she was a complete bitch. But at the same time, I loved her character. Like she was just like, and I don't know why, but I always end up gravitating towards those characters. Gabrielle Union in pretty much everything she's ever fucking played in for the most part. Remember when we did her for 10 Things I Hate About You, and I'm like, she was a bitch. But I still liked the, she got on my nerves, but at the same time, I still liked that part of the story in that way. Because it made it, I don't know, I can't really explain it. But
because it's realistic.
I live for that. That's real life. There's women like that in real life. I think women like that should continue. They'll continue to exist just because other women who aren't like that need to know what's out there, how to defend themselves from it, how to stand up to it if you need to, right? But it just makes for good TV or a good storyline when there's this messy female character. Like whether you like her or not, it definitely adds to the story. So I'm always looking at the stories like, who's the antagonist? Who's the protagonist? Did their character evolve? Did it change? You know, I'm always looking at it from that lens.
And I really feel like only women write those characters really well. Like Mean Girls, full of that. None of them was a perfect, example of like a non-messy woman. But they were all, because even Janice had she had a plan. She had like what's it called? Like a hidden motive. Yeah. She was like, oh yeah, let's take down this, like, this girl sucks or whatever. But it's like, no, you had a personal like vendetta with her. So like you were not the pure of heart, like not revolutionary or whatever. Like you had your own motives. And, Katie was obviously imperfect the way she went about it, but she did end up kind of taking down the whole, structure and forcing everybody to sit there and talk it out. Like, I love it. Regina George, again, wasn't perfect, but she deserve all of that happening to her? Like, no. Did she deserve to get hit by a bus? Like,
she didn't deserve to get hit by a bus, but
yeah, I mean, did she deserve to be put in her place? I guess.
Yeah.
But it's, it's the messiness of it all that's like, did she deserve for it to go as far as for her to get hit by a bus and everyone revel in that? Not. No. Yeah. So I like it when women ask other women these questions. I like when we're faced with that. Like, I hate when men try to get in the middle of that. Like, stay out of women's business at this point because, like, unless you can write women like Mark Cherry, right? Like, and you can you love women, right? Like you can tell when men write women, when those men also love women.
Yeah.
Respect, love, enjoy their company and actually know the intricate ways that things get worked out. I did think that was done really well in Desperate Housewives.
Facts.
But also I was challenged recently with Carol on Pluribus and I
never seen that.
It's a show on Apple TV, and it's like a very complicated moral premise. And I didn't like her. But so many women were like, I feel so validated by this character because she's not like a special woman. Like, she's not this like super pure of heart. She's not super like, she's messy. She's relatable. And so I was kind of, to use a Christianese term, I was kind of convicted on that because I was like, man, I really didn't like this lady. But now I'm seeing that she is good representation of just like an average. We love average male characters that get, the spotlight, like Breaking Bad, Walter White. Like we love just any average man that gets to do anything cool in a TV show. We're like all about it. But when an average woman, like women can't just be average on TV or in movies or whatever. That's also the reason why I liked Waiting to Exhale. They were all messy. None of them were doing everything perfectly. You know what I mean? But they were women. They had feelings. They had like, they had limitations and they had to work within those limitations. Like that is oftentimes our reality. So I'd have to agree.
You just made me think of something real quick. Did Karen's character evolve? Because I don't think she did.
In Mean Girls?
In Mean Girls. She kind of stayed the same.
Interesting question. Yeah. And I guess, that's the other thing. It's like that representation of some of your friends might not change.
Won't change.
They might witness all this revolutionary thing happen right in front of their eyes.
Yeah.
And they might still be like, oh, well.
And now that I think about it too, Gretchen, She cracked.
Yes, she did.
So I don't know if that counts
she became
as evolved because
less male-centered. I think she
okay.
I think she kind of was burned and then decided,
yeah, okay,
stay away from men for a little while. But I don't know.
Yeah, Regina George absolutely evolved, and Katie
absolutely did. So did Janice.
Janice did. Yeah, she had a
they all became friends in the end.
Yeah, I didn't fault, even though I think she was the ultimate mean girl out of all of them. I didn't fault her for what she did. I mean, because Regina George started a rumor that she was a lesbian. So my whole thing is, if somebody starts a rumor about you that's not true, then you got the right to go for the jugular at that point. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
absolutely.
That's why I don't feel like, the only thing I felt bad for Regina George was her getting hit by the bus. I think she deserved everything else she got. You know, even when she tried to blame them for the burn book, even though the burn book literally belonged to her, it was your burn book. You know, she was really, and then how she spread the flyers all around the school, which was genius. Don't get me wrong, I loved her character for sure, but she did get her comeuppance. So it's like, you know.
I love that because within that, it's like we can have nuance. You can show a messy character and you can show the consequences. You don't have to glorify it.
Absolutely.
But you can use it as like a learning, you know, as a teaching point or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah. I guess since we're talking about like film, why not? Why not just throw one more in there? Trauma-centered female narratives. I feel like, you know, especially for Black women, that is something that we see so much. And it gets to a point, I think, even for the people being represented, because it's like, how much more of this kind of trauma can we just be exposed to over and over again in like under the guise of like truth telling, storytelling, whatever. I know for me, I reached a point in my personal life at one point where my husband and I started another TV show. Everyone kept telling us to watch it. And we started, and within like 15 minutes, there's a rape scene, like a brutal rape scene. Like you know what I mean? Like you think you're just watching a TV show. 15 minutes in, no warning, no nothing. This woman gets like brutally assaulted right in front of you. And she's supposed to be the strong female character. Like she gets introduced as this like military, you know, trained. She's training when it happens. And like this man just comes in, subdues her, whatever. I turned the show off. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it anymore. It just got to a point where I was like, okay, so every woman's biggest trauma in life is being raped by a man. And then the rest of her life is apparently all, you know what I mean, a response to that.
Yeah.
Now she's going to train harder. She's going to be stronger. She's going to really, you know, get him next time. It's like, oh my God, I'm so fucking tired of it.
I am too.
I don't know. I think it's trash.
I'm going to agree, because to me that just goes right back to them portraying women in only just a few ways on TV in general. Like these trauma, something happened to you, you were traumatized, and now you're this bitter bitch or whatever. You're a single mother and now you're bitter. You're strong and now you can't keep a man. You know what I mean? It's just always these few things, and that's it. They never portray the intricate sides of women in the ways that we would want to be portrayed. So yeah, I'm gonna say trash, just because it helps to feed the patriarchal narrative that they have towards women. Like all of that is just, you know, when you are a certain way, everyone needs to have an answer as to how you got like that. In order for them to sleep at night, apparently, they have to come up with something to put you in a box. And they do that without even taking the time to figure you out or figure out who you are. Who were you before this tragedy? You know, or, you know, stuff like that. People don't care. They just need to understand, based on their own knowledge, their limited knowledge, what box to put you in. And that's all they care about. And it's fucking annoying. So,
and yet men will make movie after movie after movie after movie with a complex male character who he's done some things wrong, but he's really a good guy.
Yeah.
And like all this stuff happened to him in the past. And then he had to like fight past it and like whatever. And it's like the same story over and over again, but they just love to pretend like that it's different because it's this guy.
Yeah.
But this guy's different than this guy.
Right.
And like this guy's played by Bruce Willis and this guy's played by Jason Statham. So they're totally different. And like, you know, this guy's kid was abducted when he was 4 years old and this guy's kid died of cancer when he was 6.
Right.
Like, bro, it's the same story, but yet y'all will pretend
Literally.
like men are these complex like characters over and over again. And it's like, it's this one trope. But when it comes to women, it really is like boiled down to like these several tropes. Like, we don't actually get to be complex characters. It's either she's like a hard bitch that doesn't like anybody and whatever. She's always humbled by the end of the movie though. Or it's like the dream girl and she just does whatever she's supposed to do.
Exactly.
And you know,
that's it.
she gives you like a little chase, but she doesn't run too far away. Like
she gives in
we
eventually.
Get it. Yeah. We get it.
God.
Thank you.
Low effort beauty as a status symbol or the clean girl aesthetic.
Let's talk about that.
To me, it's trash. It's trash because women should be able to just do what they want. In my opinion, if you want to dress up, dress up. If you don't want to dress up, don't. But I don't think women should be pitted against each other like, oh, she's natural. She doesn't have to wear makeup. Or she's wearing makeup. You need to go put on some makeup. You look plain. You look like a plain Jane. You look ran down. It's like, just let the women do what they want. If a woman doesn't, if you like women that dress up and she's high maintenance or whatever, go after only those women. Don't go after a woman that's low maintenance. Like, what the fuck? And vice versa. If you want a low maintenance woman, why are you bothering high maintenance women? Why? For what? Why? I'll never understand that. You see her when you approach her. She looks high maintenance. She looks expensive. And then you're going to complain that she's a gold digger and all that. Okay, so don't approach her. I don't understand the problem. And then if you want to approach her just because you just want to smash, fine, that's fine too. But then why do you feel like you need to try to change her after the fact? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So a lot of what men go through in their personal lives when it comes to picking women is self-inflicted. It's like it's like in that water, sitting down, even though that picture of the he's like, help me, but the water is like right here and he's sitting down. All he has to do is stand up. It's self-inflicted. And it's like, and they complain about what types of women they can and can't get or don't pay them any attention. But it's like you're going after the exact supposed opposite woman that you want. So like, whose fault is that at this point? But overall, I want women to stop doing it as well. Stop.
I was going to say.
Please stop and just let women do what they want to do. No woman is better than the other one. Typically, women get treated the same regardless. Doesn't matter if it doesn't matter.
And when women realize this, I mean, the day we're going to have, because
I know
it's amazing to me that like, I kind of brought this up in our conversation with Burb, is that like we're living in an age of like extreme purity testing. Like it's almost like, and any time that I see with my church background, with my communist Russia background, okay, anytime I see people trying to get everyone to conform or do the same thing, the bells start ding, 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 ding.
Same.
We're doing something wrong. If you're telling women that wearing makeup is not feminist or whatever, we need to have a conversation. Facts. Because women and men have always worn makeup all through the ages. Makeup is something that all people do.
Yep.
Even the fact that men grow beards, that's makeup. Like we all alter our appearance. Like and then I'm also like, what is the end goal then for us as feminists? If we're going to say wearing makeup is trash, you need to have this low effort, beauty routine or whatever. So is the goal going to be that we all look like the Amish? Like is the goal?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Because I know a lot of churches that y'all would fit right in at. Okay. I know a lot of churches where the women don't wear makeup, where they don't beautify, you know what I mean? They're always scared of like tempting the men or whatever. And it's like, whether you're worried about tempting men too much or pleasing men too much, don't worry. That's not up to you.
Right.
Honest to God,
really
it's not up to you.
No.
They do not care if it's a woman, child, another man. Like, you know what I mean? It's not up to you.
A butterball turkey.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you. A butterball turkey, because it's not up to you. It's a power thing. So whether you wear makeup or don't wear makeup, these men do not care. And it does nothing for feminism to shame women.
Yes.
For wearing makeup or against wearing makeup. It's almost like you're saying that as a woman, I'm willing to judge other women more harshly because of how I feel like men are perceiving them.
Yep.
So who's it about? Is it this about women or is this about punishing men with something that they don't give a fuck about?
Literally, and they don't care.
Let's ask that question.
Do you think a rapist cares if you're what a woman has on? If his intention is to rape, that's what he wants to do. Like, it doesn't have. So I hate when women to this very day still blame women for being raped because it's like, what was she wearing? Women are still doing this as if it matters. That little that 4-year-old had on a onesie. That didn't stop.
No,
that
seriously.
didn't stop a child molester. Like, are you kidding me?
Nope. When I was 11 years old and I didn't even own any makeup, I would walk down the street and grown men would holler at me out of their cars.
Yeah, same.
What was I doing that was so pleasing to the male gaze? Exactly. It's not about that. It's about a power thing. Even if all women stopped wearing makeup, men would start wearing it just to flex on us. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's not going to kill the makeup industry. It's not going to stop anything. Like, it's such a crazy hill to die on, especially as far as like feminism goes. And we're kind of losing the plot.
We are.
Yeah. I think, it's going to be fun to come back and talk about some of the other things that are on the list, like, you know, choice feminism and whatnot. Because I feel like that's becoming such a buzzword that we're actually eliminating choice. We're like,
right,
choice feminism is bad. Women shouldn't have choice.
Yeah, that's where we're headed.
I'm sorry.
That's really where we're headed.
It gets to a point, you guys. That's exactly why we're doing this tea or trash segment, because we need to like break these things down sometimes. Like,
imagine being a woman who's against makeup and then now you end up with a husband who forces you to wear it. Every day, your face has to be on. You know, you would hate that. You probably would hate that. Vice versa. Let women do what they want to do and leave it be. Oh my God.
And beauty standards would still exist without makeup. It would just be like, oh, this girl still pretty. You know what I mean? Like,
it'll be how small is your waistline?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
How pretty are your toes?
Yes.
How long is your hair? Like, it'll be something else. So it's like, it'll never end unless we end it, women.
And we just stop giving a fuck.
Literally.
Like, legit.
That's how we end it. Stop caring.
Yep.
And stop judging other women.
Yes. No, for sure. That's the goal of this segment. So let us know if you agree or disagree. Sound off in the comments as always. And we are going to look at our poll results from last week as we wrap up this episode. All right. So the question was, can feminism exist in a belief system like Christianity that treats hierarchy and submission as sacred? So basically, can you be a Christian feminist? And we had 4 available answers. So A was no, those values fundamentally conflict. B was yes, if the theology is reinterpreted. C was only culturally, not theologically, meaning you can do it, but the Bible's not backing you up. Or D was I'm not sure. This one seemed like a no-brainer. I'm not going to lie.
For me, it's number 1.
Yeah. And I think most of our listeners agree, although there was definitely some comments, you know, it sort of like dwindled down as you go. And there was a pretty big like cliff there. So it'd be like 74% say no, 14% say yes if the theology is reinterpreted. And then there's a split between the last 2 options, like 7 and 6%, which is very interesting.
That's just another, I disagree.
I know, I can see where your mind is going because I'm like, how much of it would you have to reinterpret?
Literally the whole thing.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Why do you need a sky daddy?
That is a very important question. Why do you need that? Because
you don't need to outsource your morality. Like, you can look around and be like,
actions have consequences.
Yeah.
And go from there. Treat people how you want to be treated. That's it. It's really
and the
simple.
best part is theology and religion doesn't really make a difference in that, by the way.
It doesn't.
Like, the psychopaths who go to church just use the church to be better
to be
psychopaths.
A psychopath. Absolutely.
Like, good people who go to church just use the church to be try and be a good person or whatever, or try and validate that. And it's like, once you leave the church, you understand there's way more opportunities outside of the church to like practice, shining your light and whatever. But hey,
absolutely,
it's a canon event. So thanks y'all for hanging out. We will be back next week and we have a very interesting topic to discuss. We're going to use our imagination.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Let me tease it like that. We're going to use our imagination in our next episode, and I'm sure you won't want to miss it.
No,
so
definitely
check
not.
back with us next week. And for those of you that are in the Crumpets Club, we will see you in the Crumpets.
Bye.